Manual mode, no presets allowed. Candid frames break through the crowd. Light chasers, night gazers, exposure brilliant. Vahagraphy, the art of battle and resilient. Film or digital, doesn't matter the tool. Vahagraphy style, making pixels rule. Dynamic range, capturing soul in sequence. Glow truck clicks, beyond earthly pretense. Vahagraphy, freeze moments in flight. Pixel levels, aiming for the sight. Flash pop, shutter drop, world in a blink. Memories inked in digital link.
What's good, guys? Welcome to Bokehs episode number 9. How are you guys doing today? How's everybody doing this Thursday morning? Let's see here. We got a guest in the house today, David Cruz, the drunk wedding photographer. He's from my town. He shoots film and digital. We had him on, but he disappeared. There he is. All right. What's going on, David?
Moshi. Buenos días. Good morning. Konnichiwa. ¿Cómo está?
How are you, bro?
Really quickly, I want to mention that for those who have never been to Japan or don't normally watch Japanese anime or television, they might not know what moshi means. It means hello in Japanese, but you can only use it when you answer the phone, right? And it's used, like in an informal context. Of course, if you call like a company or a corporation, there's like a proper greeting. But what's interesting, what I found out was that back in the olden days before phones, the legend goes, right? The Japanese legend goes that fox spirits and ghosts cannot say moshi twice. So if you would go to somebody's house at night, you had to say moshi so that the person inside the house would open the door for you, because that showed that you weren't a ghost. So yeah, that's a little interesting. Cool. So that's why I say moshi. It's a hello in Japanese. So for anybody who cares.
That's cool, man. What you been up to, man? Shooting any nice weddings lately?
No, wedding season hasn't kicked in yet. I have my first wedding next month. And it's funny because I have this blog post on how to get married. No, well, it's mostly how to get the photo permit for the Beverly Hills courthouse. So I have a few of those lined up because I figured, kind of keep it small. Film is expensive, so I try to focus more on smaller weddings. So, cool. But no, it hasn't kicked in yet. It's going to kick in next month. So.
Nice. Teammate in the house. What's up, Teammate? Man, I want to congratulate Teammate on his success on his YouTube channel and his photography. Teammate, I'd love to have you on one day on the guest on the show to talk about your YouTube channel. It's doing great. So, David,
yes,
you got your film ready for your wedding when the wedding season kicks in?
Yes, and it's funny because all the film that I have stocked up, I got at Walmart like 2 or 3 years ago. I just buy everything that they have. I was like, give me all of it, and I just stockpiled it. So yeah,
stockpile it.
I'm ready.
That's a cool little Leica banner there in the back.
Oh yeah, so I used to work in La Cañada Camera a long time ago.
La Cañada Camera.
Yeah, did you ever walk in there?
I think I've been there. How's that place?
Yeah.
You worked at Sammy's too, right?
I did. Yeah. I worked at Sammy's Camera Pasadena from 2013 to around 2015, but it was on and off. And it was funny because I came in to cover somebody who was on pregnancy leave. And they said, oh, you're only coming in for 3 months. And those 3 months turned into, 3 years. Because I guess, she kept asking for more time. So, yeah, which was good for me. Right. But it was always temporary. That sucked because I always came in with a 3 month, what do you call it? Probation period, I guess. So I was never able to pass that probation period. So they never got me on as a full-time employee, even though I was full-time. I don't know.
Where was it? Sammy's? Is it Sammy's you're talking about?
Yeah, Sammy's. Yeah, Sammy's.
So how is it there? I mean, I know the guys in the Pasadena store, and I know some guys in LA.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Sammy's is like the B&H of the West Coast. They're the biggest camera chain here. right? There's no
Yes.
other, right? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much anything you're looking for, they have it.
The LA store is like 4 stories on
Mhm.
Fairfax. It's crazy, man. You walk in there, this old I knew the old guy in the Leica booth. He was a cool head. He sold me a lot of stuff.
And also the
But
smell. That store has a very particular smell.
yeah. No, I like it. I like Sammy's. So what would you do? You did sales there?
Yeah, so first they had me in the film department.
Yeah.
Because I originally, well, actually I applied to work there when they moved, because they used to be on by the downtown area at first. I forgot the name of the street.
But that was a while back, right?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah. And when they were about to move to their current location, which is by the college, by PCC, they needed a new lab tech, and that's what I applied for originally.
Yeah.
But I never heard. Well, actually, I did get the interview. I got the interview, but obviously I didn't get the job. And then they called me back like 2 or 3 years later to come in to cover for the chick who was out on pregnancy leave. They had me in the film department at first.
Yeah, you did sales there. Let me tell you a funny story about
Yeah.
Sammy's that I experienced. I bought a Sony camera there, and I guess it's common practice. I mean, I'm not dogging them in any way, but
Yeah.
I bought when the Sony A7R came out. I bought it at the A7R2. I bought it cash. I paid cash. That was my fault. And I didn't use my card. I paid cash green. And then I returned it like maybe within the 15 days. And I think back then, I don't know if they still charged 15%. They didn't charge me 15% restocking. So I had to wait like 2-3 weeks to get my money. They said, "Oh, we're going to send you a check because we don't carry cash in the store." And I was like, all right, well, I guess no one pays with cash or whatever. I hate that procedure, you know?
Yeah.
You come in
No,
with
that was
cash.
actually a very common procedure. Even
It
when
is.
I used to work in Ritz Camera in 2005 in the Beverly
Yeah.
Center, if it was over, I think if I remember correctly, I think if it was over $100 or $200, you would get back a check. And I always thought that was such a dumb policy. But yeah, we never had more than $500 in the cash register.
That's, I mean, I know that. I understand why. I just don't like it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like it. If I pay cash, I want my cash returned. I mean, I just don't.
Hey,
like
but at
waiting for it.
least you can, get this. At least you can return it. If you were in Mexico, and actually, I left this comment on Mr. Z Wade's video from the other. When was it? Yesterday.
Z Wade photo.
ZWadePhoto.com. In Mexico, if you buy a camera, you cannot return it. So even if it's faulty from factory, you're stuck with it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's bullshit.
At least we have it lucky that we can at least, return it. At least we're given that opportunity to return it.
Yeah. Now you get film developed there, like T-Mid in LA. You get film developed. It's cool. I mean, it's a cool store. I know the manager at the Pasadena store, Jason. He's really
Jason,
nice,
right?
Yeah, Jason's a really nice guy. Down to earth, A couple of guys retired there. I know I think the Asian guy, the older Asian guy. I forget his name. He retired. I don't see Roman there anymore. Remember Roman? The European kind of guy. He's not there no more. But a lot of guys retired. I bought a lens used from this dude once. I met up at the supermarket here in my town, and he happened to be an employee from Sammy's. Oh. I go, "Hey, dude, I know you from Sammy's." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "What?" I go, "What'd you do? Steal this lens, and you're selling it to me?" We were just joking.
Hey, dude, let me tell you. I don't work there anymore, and I doubt I'm ever going to work there again. But let me tell you a really weird. Well, I have 2 weird stories. I honestly I don't remember his name, but it was a guy who used to work there for a long time. Tall guy, Caucasian guy.
I think Roman.
Was that him?
I think so. He's like a dark hair, dark complexion guy.
No.
Who's talking?
No, he used to work in the lighting department.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, his name will probably come to me later. So he worked at Sammy's for a long time, and then he just got fired out of the blue one day. If I remember correctly, it's because he got into an argument with the customer. I think, because I wasn't there that day. Anyway, So he got fired, and I guess he lived in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then one day and I remember this perfectly, on a Sunday, he was walking back and forth in the alley. How there's like an alleyway in the back,
Yeah.
and he kept walking back and forth like very suspiciously, and everybody got a little freaked out, because not my words, this is what they said. They thought that he was going to come in and like do some damage with the pow pow. So we ended up calling the cops to get him out of there. So I was like, man, that sucks, poor guy. And then another quick story. Working at Sammy's, and again, man, I'm always, everything crazy always happens when I'm not there. This home, because there's a big homeless problem in that neighborhood, and when they had just opened, I guess this homeless guy came in and he destroyed the restroom. He like pooped all over the
man,
walls.
Sammy's?
Yeah.
What? Oh man.
I was like, man, that sucks. Anyway, but those are my two Sammy stories.
Yeah, no, I've had a good experience with Sammy's. I mean,
yeah, for the most part, everybody was pretty chill.
Yeah,
it's just a shame that I didn't work under Jason, because the manager we had at the time, she was like, not strict, but I don't know, like it was just like the corporate policy was really weird. Like, get this, once she wrote me up for insubordination because I took 2 slices of pizza.
Dude, I see that's what I don't like. You know, like you're so like, what is this, like 3rd grade? Like,
yeah,
this is what I don't like, and this is what turns me off about working for like a corporation. Write me up. Like, what is that, bro? Like, are we children? Like, I just don't like that.
Yeah, so dumb. Yeah, see, because what would happen every other Saturday, we would have reps from Tamron, Sony, Nikon, etc., and they would always buy us pizza. And obviously not everybody is gonna eat pizza, and usually we will have at least 3 left over, and we will end up throwing them away. So I said, well, let me take 2 slices home, and she didn't like that. I'm like,
so there's nothing wrong with it. You're gonna throw it away.
Yeah, we would always throw it away. So she was like, oh, you have to make sure that everybody got their share and this and this. I'm like, whatever.
Hey, let me tell you a funny story about pizza. But before I do, hit that like button, guys. Smash that like button. This is streaming on YouTube music app. If you want to drive and listen to us live or pre-recorded, you don't have to have the screen on with the YouTube music app. So check that out. Good way of listening to this podcast. Bokehs episode 9. Anyway, I got a funny story about pizza. My friend used to work at my local pizza place, and it was really good. This is when we were like 16, and he was like 18. And I'm like, hey, man, I'll call you. I'll order like 2-3 pizzas, and I won't pick it up. Just because like everybody that like the employees, whoever like they have pizza left over that people don't pick up, they take it home, right? So we were just silly kids. So I'd order like 2 larges, like the most expensive pizza
with everything on it.
Yeah, everything on it, and I knew like we were conspired to take that pizza home and party, and we were stupid kids. But anyway,
I've heard that story before too.
So about other people doing that?
Yeah, you weren't the only one. I've heard that before somewhere.
Hey, so if you guys don't know, David Cruz, also known as a drunk wedding photographer, he's a wedding photographer that shoots primarily on film in 2025. He has a great awesome portfolio. He has his own clientele. He charges a pretty premium price to shoot film, and that's who he is. And he's from the LA area, a little north from me, I think.
I'm in Palmdale, California.
Palmdale. That's awesome, man.
Or as the locals like to call it, the armpit of LA.
Yeah, the marijuana growing capital of LA.
Yeah, that, and also like the crack capital. It has all sorts of names. I'm like, man, whatever.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, I really appreciate and I really respect you, because
thank you.
You do is really like challenging, and even today, like I haven't shot film in so long. To do it in a professional capacity for me, it would be challenging. I used to do it, but this day and age for me would be like hard work.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not used to it, But I commend you for doing that, and it takes a lot of guts these days to do that. because you can screw that up if you don't know what you're doing with film.
You can. And then I think the weakest link of the whole process is the lab. That's really where most of your expense comes in, and you really have to have a lab that you trust, because you send the film out and it's really faith. You have to have full faith that the lab is going to take care of you. And I've gone through a number of labs, and we have many great labs here in LA, but they're way too expensive.
I shoot.
And funny enough, I'm actually, like, if you compare my prices to my competitors who also use film, I'm kind of on the lower end.
So wait a minute. There's people that actually do what you do.
Yeah, but
wow,
there's like 5 of us. There's
5 of you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. What I mean, you also shoot digital, so I mean,
yeah. But they're more like hybrid. Where like they use like 50-50 or maybe 80-20. And I consider myself more of a 90-10. It's as long as there's sunlight, I will use film, and then once the sun goes down, then it's mostly digital.
I forgot when you do your digital stuff. I forgot, you still DSLR, right? D700?
Yes, I have a D700, and I recently repurchased a D200.
That's right. Any ideas of going mirrorless?
Well, I do have a mirrorless camera. It's the Olympus EM1 from 2012. And it's pretty much like my I don't know if people are gonna get this reference, but it's my HM slave. Yeah. It's from Pokemon. So in Pokemon, there's you can teach your Pokemon moves. It's called a TM or an HM, and the TM are moves that you can teach your Pokemon and you can delete them. But if you teach them the HM, those are moves that you cannot delete. But in order to beat the game, you have to use these HMs throughout the game. And so what a lot of little, and this is back in the 90s, right? So what a lot of kids would do, and I would do too, is you would have one Pokemon that you would teach all the HMs to. So you wouldn't waste your moves on your good Pokemon. So this Olympus is my HM slave because it's my video camera, it's my going to Vegas camera, family camera.
But you don't use it for your weddings?
No, I don't use it for work. I try using it for work, but it I don't know. Let me ask you. It doesn't feel right.
Let me ask you something. If you were to get a Nikon mirrorless right now for your digital stuff, which one would you like? What camera intrigues you right now? Which one would you pick?
Not so much camera, but lenses.
But no, let's go with bodies. Which one would you pick right now?
If I had the money, I would get the Z8.
You get the Z8 over the Z9.
Over the Z9, yeah, because I feel like it's like the perfect balance of like the way it feels and how it looks. Because I also do appreciate how cameras look. See, because I got this little camera right here. It's my favorite camera of all time. Does anybody know which one it is? Probably not.
The 90.
See, so this is the Nikon U2, but here in America it's called the N75, and in Europe it's called the F75. And this was actually not this particular one, but this was my first film camera that my mom got for me in high school, and I have a sentimental value for it. But I would like a whatchamacallit, a mirrorless camera that's like this style.
So the Z8 would be your camera. So let's talk lenses now. What lenses really intrigue you with mirrorless? The Z mount?
Nothing from the Z mount, to be honest. Yeah.
Wait a minute. We have a little problem here. What do you mean? No, but so you'd mount F-mount lenses?
No, I'll probably go third party.
Like what?
Like Viltrox or TT Artisans.
Really? Over the Z mounts? I mean, money no object here.
Yeah, I'd still go. And the reason is because see how big this lens is, probably like about 3 inches.
Yeah.
Like I'm so used to using this is actually this and the 20 1.8G are the biggest lenses that I have as far as length.
Yeah.
So because I've used these lenses for so long, whenever I put anything longer than that, it feels weird. Like I can't. It's kind of like, you've been driving the same car forever. Then when you drive a new one, it feels loose. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I get it. But look, did you see what Viltrox is doing as of late, man?
Mhm.
These lab lenses.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. I mean, I haven't tried one out yet, but what I've heard, the 135 1.8 is a stellar lens, and it's under $1,000. I mean, $899.
Yeah.
I mean, that you really can't compete with that if it does everything that I heard it can do. Keep up with the the Plena. I mean, the Plena is a great lens. But I mean, for $899, I mean, you can't complain. The 16 millimeter that I have, the full frame, the crop sensor Viltroxes that I have. Firu is doing good things right now. Excuse me. But no, I'm really, I mean, can't wait to get my hands on these lenses. But man. So the Z8 and a couple of Viltrox lenses, huh?
Yeah, but if I really were to do it, I would go Canon, and again only because of the price of the lenses. Because I remember I mentioned on one of your streams that the Canon has a 50 millimeter 1.8 for $200 new, so that would really be like realistically where I would go if I were to go mirrorless. Because again, like I prefer using lenses this size, 50 1.8s. And the reason why is because a lot of people don't use them. So you know how everyone's always trying to, get like a different look. And I figured, well, why not use the lenses that nobody talks about? So
my first camera was Canon. Taro. What's going on, Taro? Yeah, no, I've had my experience with Canon. I mean, Canon's Canon.
Yeah.
You
I just don't like the color science of Canon. That's the thing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have the opposite point of view on that. I like the skin tones. I really thought I love the Canon skin tones, digital.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they nailed it because it's just the right tone. I mean, back in the day, the Nikons had this greenish kind of tint to the files, right?
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much corrected that now, but I thought Canon always nailed skin tones. Now noise, low light shooting, that's a different story. Lenses, I always thought that Nikon lenses were sharper than Canon lenses. For a while, excuse me, my second photographer, one of my second photographers was rocking Canon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was rocking Nikon. And how we do it is we sync all the photos to when I go and process all the raw files, it's all synced through time, right? By the way, guys, if you're shooting with the second photographer, make sure your times are identical on all cameras when you're shooting that, because it's easier to sync. And let's say you're shooting one thing and he's or she's shooting the other. When someone's editing them, it's in order. So sync the camera timer up. Anyway, when I was editing the files, I would notice, okay, well, this is shot on a Canon, this is shot on a Nikon, and I would just be so appreciative on how good the Nikon lenses were. Then when I would switch to Canon lens, I would go, okay, man, this is not as, and this is my experience. I'm not talking trash about Canon.
Yeah.
But I would just notice right off the bat how special this Nikon glass really is. And I would also notice, because he was shooting on a 5D Mark III, 5D Mark IV. And I would notice how cleaner the Nikon files were versus the Canon files.
Mm-hmm.
This is just from my experience editing these raw files. But I've always thought that Canon just nails skin tones. I've always loved that, so yeah, I mean, they're all good now.
Yeah, pretty much any camera that you get nowadays is pretty good, I think.
My friend shoots with Fuji X APS-C all day weddings. That's all he does. He's a Fuji shooter, and he shoots with the crop sensor Fuji because he loves it. So I don't know if you've heard of Sako-san. If you worked at the lab, at the Saros lab, he would also come and pick up his albums there. He would make his albums there. His name was Sako-san. Young kid. I mean, he's not a kid anymore, but compared to my age, he's a kid. Sako, yeah.
Skinny guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sako.
Okay, yeah.
His dad, his
I know him.
grandpa's a great
I know of him.
photographer.
Yeah, I know him.
His grandpa, his mom is a photographer.
Mhm.
His grandpa, Tigran, one of the amazing photographers in our Armenian community in LA, very well-known photographer. Mansourian Photography, I'm sure you've heard of him.
Probably.
He's a legend in our market. I mean, he's taught so many photographers in our market. He's a great guy, and he's not afraid of sharing his knowledge. I love that about him. I haven't talked to him in a while. I hope he's doing well. He's an older fellow. I mean, but family of photographers, bro. Sako, his mom, and the grandpa. And you probably seen all these guys come in Saro's lab. I mean, I'm telling you, So
and I miss working there. It was fun.
He closed his lab.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Now
but I think his wife is still there.
They're doing wedding dresses and flowers and stuff.
Yeah. So it's just Saro, the one who got out of the business, but pretty much everything's still there. If last time I checked.
So yeah, man.
I miss working there. It was fun.
What do you think of the? Because I remember, like, you left me a comment like a couple of days ago about YouTube, and you watch your fair share of YouTube, right?
I'm pretty much on YouTube all day.
Really? So what's your go-to right now? Like, when you open up YouTube? By the way, does YouTube recommend my videos to you? I have. I'm experiencing weird things going on my channel, bro. Like I think ever since I like wore a MAGA hat, I've experienced a drop. And I believe in that because I believe in YouTube kind of like not reaching, like this live stream would get 30, 40, 50. And now I'm like live. Like, what's this, bro? 12? Come on, really? Really? 17,000 subscribers and only 11 people live. Like that doesn't make sense. I get more.
It's the same with Instagram. Like the reach is just in the trash. It's garbage.
It's garbage. I get more replays after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a time slot. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure this out. It's frustrating. It's annoying. But
there is also a thing as shadow banning, because I tend to post political memes on my Instagram, and it's funny because it depends on your point of view. You might take it this way or that way, but those who know me know exactly where I lean. But when I'm like straight up, I notice that engagement drops. So
it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk politics. It's not worth it. That's not why I'm here.
Yeah.
And anyway, like it's out of our power what happens in politics. It's out of our power. What can we do if we don't like something?
And this is exactly why I just focus more on investing my time into my own website and blogging. Believe it or not, blogging is still very viable. And a lot of people who photographers, who still want to get some type of market share, some type of audience, they turn to blogging.
Yeah.
So, it's
I started doing
but
I started doing what I was doing in the past, that kind of style videos, entertaining videos, like entertainment,
Yeah.
I think it's lacking in our community right now. Like, the tech stuff is cool. Yeah, you want to sound smart and give you tech, but I think I'm more of an entertainer photographer than, because I like doing that. I like entertaining the crowd. Like I always tell people, like, I'm more of like a photographer that just give me the camera and I know what I'm doing than a tech guy that'll give you all the tech specs. Like that stuff doesn't like interest me. There's so many channels that just go over tech like crazy. Like Gerald Undone is one of them. Like it's all tech over there. It's all tech, and it's just the kind of stuff I'm not interested in.
Yeah,
I'm interested in a guy having a camera and let me see what you can do with the camera. That's why I like Jared Pollan a lot, because he's entertaining. He's he says quirky stuff. It's just fun to watch, and he's a good photographer. I happen to be a fan. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But so they recommend my videos to you. That's
Yeah,
good.
whenever you have a new one, it pops up. So
What's your go-to channel? Like, what do you watch these days? Like,
I,
who
I
you?
watch I watch a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's sort of like my Instagram feed where it's just all over the place, and the algorithm can't figure out what the hell I like. So
Who's your who's your, what about a new YouTuber that we might not know of?
um there's this guy. Well, actually, he hasn't uploaded anything in a while. Zachary de la
Uh-huh.
Garza.
Uh-huh.
He's in Paris, Texas,
Uh-huh.
and he does a lot of film photography. And what I like about his videos is that he really does do them just for himself. Like
Uh-huh.
he's not, promoting anything. He just goes out on his little town. And I think one of the reasons why I like his content is because his town looks like my town, where like there's nothing to do,
Uh-huh.
but yet he figures out how to, photograph it and make it look pretty.
That's
But he
cool.
doesn't upload that often. I think he uploads like once every 2 months, once every 3 months. But I like content like that, where like you watch it and you kind of know what to expect, like.
Yeah.
And I thought about doing some of that stuff, but I'm like, man, doing videos, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then it takes up a lot of space on the computer, and I'm like, no, never mind. If anything, if I do get into video, it'll probably be like this, where I'm just gonna use the webcam, the Game Boy webcam that I advertised to the computer, and do like story time. But going outside and doing all that, it's a lot of work.
It is a
But
lot of work.
I might do one video on how I direct my clients and models, because that's one thing that I feel that a lot of clients ask when we have our Zoom calls. So, I think that's something that I need on my website. So that'll probably be like the only thing I'll actually go out and like hire some models and, like add some production value to it. But outside of that, no, it's a lot of work. So I commend you. Hats off, for.
It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but I have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I just have fun doing it. I don't care how many views I get. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's not, for me, it's not about, like I want to be, I want to have thousands of views nah, I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy talking about photography in a fun, quirky kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I like making reviews. I like just being myself and loud and injecting the music stuff. And it's cool, and there are other like YouTubers that I like their stuff, and some guys, they don't do it anymore because they get burned out. I was feeling like that too at some point, but then I'm like, I enjoy this too much. Let's see what happens. I don't let it get in the way of my work and my daily duties, but whenever I have some time, I go out and I shoot. And like yesterday, I went out to this nice little park next to my place, and I shot that lab thing where I talked about that lens. And it was a great gloomy day, and I had fun doing it. I just enjoyed that kind of stuff, Talk about that video, like I'm using that APS-C Viltrox lens, and just look at that background blur. Like you can get pretty much pro results with like lenses that cost a few $100s.
It costs peanuts.
So I wanted to say, like, how does Nikon feel about that? Like how do these, because I never heard of Nikon talking about third party, except for Tamron maybe, but never heard them talk about Viltrox or anything like that. But I guess they don't have an issue with it because they're doing it. I mean, I'm not sure if there's any contractual kind of, behind the scenes on that.
Yeah.
But they're not getting in the way, Nikon. So like Canon did, they pretty much said, no, don't make RF mount lenses, which I think hurt them. A lot of people didn't like that. And there is a market for that kind of lenses. I mean, because not a lot of people can afford the OEM lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people want the OEM lenses. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, let's give you guys an option to use still the Z mount, but you can go buy Viltrox, and that's fine. You're not going to cannibalize lens sales. I don't think you're going to cannibalize lens sales, because that person that wants that 85-1.2 Nikon S lens is going to go buy it.
They're going to buy it.
They're going to buy it. They're going to go buy the Planet. They're going to go buy the 7200 Z lens.
And they would do anything to buy. I'll tell you another quick story of Sammy's camera that you reminded me of if you want something, you'll get it. And I'll never forget. I don't remember her name, but it was this young lady that came in from Mexico. So, and something that I learned about working at camera shops, which I first learned it at Ritz. And I don't know if it's the same way now, but in the olden days, when I used to work at camera shops, people would come here to buy their camera equipment because it was cheaper than back home.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the Sammy story, when was it? Like in 2013 or 14, if I remember correctly. She came in, right? Like she was from Mexico, and she came in asking for the Canon EF 24-105L, which is the f4 version.
Yeah, it's great lens.
Correctly.
I had that lens. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how much it was. Was it like 1,700?
No, it was less than that.
It was like 1,500.
24-105. I remember paying like under 1,000 for that lens.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it wasn't cheap, right? I remember it wasn't cheap. I don't remember the exact price. Anyway, so I gave her the price, whatever the price it was at the time, and she's like, okay. She left.
Yeah.
Right, and she came back like a few hours later, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna take the lens. And she ended up paying in, I kid you not, she ended up paying in credit card, cash. I think she even used like a Sammy's coupon that we had out at the time. And then she ended up like the rest was like in coins. So there I was counting the quarters and the dimes.
No,
trying to close off the sale. And she was like, man, I'm broke.
Cash is cash, bro.
Yeah, but she got her lens and she left very happy.
Yeah.
She left very happy with her lens. And she,
I do that sometimes. I do that sometimes when I'm trying to get rid of the coins in my car.
Yeah.
Like, not that I don't have cash on me, but like let's say it's like $4 at a drive-through, and I want to just get rid of these coins. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I just pay with like dimes? Because there's so many. They get very annoyed. They don't like that. I'm like, cash is cash, man.
Yeah, cash is king. So,
hablas español muy bien.
Sí, el español sí.
¿Entiendes español? ¿Hablas español?
Sí.
Mi también.
Oh, ¿usted también habla español?
Sí, yeah, habla español.
I think everybody who lives in LA speaks some sort of Spanish, like.
Well, my story is different. Spanish. I speak Spanish because of my mom. She's from Uruguay.
Oh, Uruguay? No way.
Montevideo, yeah. South America. So that's why.
And we're looking at the price of that lens. So I guess you can still buy it new. It's $1,300. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay, dang. They still make it new.
So when you worked at Sammy's, it was like, was it all commission based or was it hourly? Like,
oh, so this is the funny thing. It was hourly, but the same with Ritz. Certain companies would give us incentives to sell their cameras. So, for example, like the best two companies that would give us the best incentives was Sony and Canon. For example, Sony, like if they had a hot item, they would usually give us like $20 if we would sell it.
Yeah.
Canon, same thing, like $10, $15. So if on a good weekend, you can make pretty much your whole paycheck just on your whole weekend selling Canon and Sony. So, and Nikon never gave us anything. So it was always hard to push Nikon. Even though I was a Nikon user, like I would never push it because I wouldn't get any money off of it.
But wait a minute, Sammy's didn't pay you commission as well?
No, that was only for the managers. If I remember correctly.
Because I remember like when I go there, it's just so cutthroat. Like, oh, that's my client, that's my customer. Like, you know what I mean? Like now it's like they dog you when like, oh, who did you ask for? Make sure.
And again, the reason being is because if there was a particular camera that you were going to get sold, then they wanted those $10, $15, sometimes even $30, depending on what it was.
Uh-huh.
And then like certain things would also give you commission. Like if you, again, at the time when I was working there, so if somebody picked up photo processing, you would get $1 off of that. So every time somebody will pick that up, you will get $1 on your paycheck. Certain accessories, certain bags would also give you a couple bucks. So, think about that. Like it adds up, So if you would sell a camera that would give you $30 and then some accessories, you walk away with like $80. So that's
I
why.
went in once. I called in actually,
Yeah.
and I asked one of the reps. I go, "Hey, do you have this camera in stock?" And he went, "No, we don't have it in stock." One day I was driving by and I stopped in there, and they happened to have it in stock when I was driving by, and I bought it. And the guy that I talked to on the phone wasn't there at the time, and I'm like, make sure he gets credit for this because he really told me about this. He sold me on this camera on the phone, right? And the next day he calls me and goes, "Oh, you bought the camera?" He goes, "Yeah, didn't they tell you that to give you credit?" Like, no, like, but he somehow knew that I went and I bought the camera. I guess there's a way of tracking people's receipts, or like, you guys look at people's sales
because
over
you can check the sales for that day on the computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or you can punch in the camera model and you could see how many were sold, who sold it,
That's crazy.
what location sold it. Yeah, it was pretty. It wasn't high tech. It was one of those old computers, the one that only has the green font, and it doesn't even have a mouse, so you have to punch everything in.
I apologized. I go, "I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to like do that. I just was driving by and they had one." And I even told him, giving you credit because you're the one that, initiated the sale. And I guess he was cool about it. He has to be cool about it.
Yeah.
He can't just say, "What the hell, dude? Like, you shouldn't have bought it. You should have." Yeah. But he was just surprised. That's it, So,
but now that I'm thinking back at it, so how can I say it? There wasn't. See, it was weird. We didn't have like an official quota of sales that we had to meet every month, but we did, but we officially didn't, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So if you didn't meet those sales, you would get a little talking to at the company meeting on Sunday. So I think that's another reason why.
I wonder what's going on now, because let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is the camera industry, do you think the camera industry when it comes to sales is struggling in today's times?
I mean, if I'm going by what I see on YouTube, no, because it seems like everybody's pushing gear and it seems like it's doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the only way to know would be to ask like the people who are actually selling them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's doing okay.
I look at like what's going on in the used marketplace right now, and there's really like, what happened to all the gear? Like, I searched Nikon on used marketplaces, and it's like there's really nothing. No one's selling anything.
Well, it depends. It depends on what you're looking for. So, for example, I was looking for the 1.8G, and that lens is very difficult to find, and it's very difficult to find a good deal on it. I think used is like $600 to like $700, and at that point, you might as well just buy it new.
Yeah.
I was also recently looking for well, I'm not sure if you guys can see this. This is the first AF Night Horse, the one with the plastic ring, not the rubber ring.
Is that the D?
No, it's not a D. No, this is before. So they had three versions. They had this, the AF version.
The AF,
with the plastic ring, and then they had the N version with the rubber ring, and then they had the D version, which is the same thing as the rubber, but they just added the distance information chip. But these lenses are becoming more difficult to find. The first AF versions, for some reason, I don't know why, and they were pretty cheap. But so this is the 1.8, and I've been looking for the 1.4 version, and for a long time they were like $80, but now they're like $150 if you find one. So yeah, so I kind of get where you're coming from.
Like right now, like let's do a search. I'm gonna search. Let's see. I'm going to search. How do we share screen? Okay, so
no, and so I also sell on eBay.
David, do you see this?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
All right, so like I used to buy and sell all the time on Craigslist. I know Craigslist is not that great right now.
Yeah.
But just doing a search like right now, hey, here's that lens. Here's the D version. Right here. on top, but I used to have this camera right here. I used to have this camera.
No.
Yeah, the Coolpix 995, $25 in Downey. No charger. I wonder if it still works. I'll buy it for nostalgia purposes.
Mm-hmm.
P1000.
Hey, and you can even flip those. If it's in working order, you clean it up and sell it on eBay to a hipster. They'll pay you, at least $50-$80 for those.
Hey guys, this is a good lens. The 105-28G is a great lens for macro, and this price of $450, that's pretty decent for this lens, G lens. Let's see what else. Oh, here's a 24-70. Man, this lens right here has been my workhorse for years. Never had an issue with this lens, and this was attached to my DSLR, man.
Which version did you have? Did you have?
I had the first one.
The first one, okay, yeah. So I was gonna say that
the non-VR
first version had the well, not widespread, but I remember seeing reports that it had the focus motor would poop out on that version, on the first version.
Not mine, man. Not mine. I mean, mine was even an import. It wasn't even USA lens.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I bought it.
By the way, all my equipment is import used. Everything I have is secondhand at this point, except for my F5 that I purchased new a long ass time ago. But
I had this lens right here, the 22AD. I had it before I sold it. This is a high price. I bought it for
25 is a lot because you can get minty ones from Japan for $150.
Nothing catches my eye right now. Like what? Let's do a search. Here's a Z9 for $3,500. 3,500, 2 additional batteries, mint. Okay, nice. I'd probably offer him 2,800. See if he bites. That's just me.
Yeah, some people really need the cash and they'll take what they can get.
No, it's not only that. I'm not trying to be like cheap. It's just that you're taking a risk buying a body.
Oh, look, check out that N75. Let me see how much they're selling it for.
Where's that?
Go up. Right there. There it is.
Right here.
Yeah. Oh, $70. No, the one with the blue box.
N75.
Yeah. See, it's rare. See, that's this guy right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, that camera, believe it or not, it's a really good camera. It's just as good as the F6. The only difference is
check this out. Z6 $790.
Is that a good
I mean, if you don't care about the X-Speed 7, dude, this is a great price for a Z6 II. I love the Z6 camera, man. I love it. Nothing catches my eye. Let me do a search Nikon Z right now. Let me put a Z in there.
Nikon Z.
Yeah, so here's a 70-200, great lens. 85-1.8, 550, 400-4.5. I have my eye on this lens right here. That's what I want. 29 is a little high for me. That's it. I mean, Craigslist is not where you should really judge this kind of stuff, but OfferUp is actually better. And then Facebook Marketplace. Of course, eBay. But the problem with me and eBay and KEH, I don't like. Even Z-Wade bought something, I think, from KEH. He bought a lens that was like messed up. And
KH and MBP, I don't trust them, and the reason why is because you cannot see the actual item that you're purchasing.
That's what I want. I want to see it. I want to try it out. But I think those kind of places have a return policy, right?
They do, but they charge you, the shipping and all that. So by the end of the day,
hassle.
It's a hassle. So no, I unfortunately cannot recommend KH or MPB. Even though, a lot of YouTubers, this video is brought to you by KH MPB. Yeah, no, I don't. I'm an eBay guy, but I rarely buy from US sellers. It's always from Japan. Yes, I pay $30-$40 for the shipping, which sucks.
Why do you do that? Why Japan?
Because pretty much only one time out of all I've been buying from Japan for the last 5 years, and every single item that I get is like new. Like it's minty. It's like it's not used at all.
Mm.
Of course, it takes a little bit of time and practice to like go through the pictures and because everything says mint plus plus plus, but not everything is mint plus plus plus. But yeah, I've had pretty good luck with eBay. Never had to return anything. The only time that I did get something broken was when I bought one of these guys. I have 3, by the way. And the lens, they attached the lens when they shipped it. So in the shipping it, the mount broke off. So that was the
You
only
have
time.
3 of those.
Hmm?
You have 3 of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Nice.
I have the U2 silver
Uh-huh.
version. I have a black one, and then I have a N75.
Ah.
Because I'm telling you, this camera is really good. It's essentially a mini F6. So if you ever use the F6, it has all the features of the F6 in a small plastic body. Plus, it has a little date back, which if you're not into film photography, it's really all the rage right now with Gen Z having the date on their picture. And clients love that. So that's another reason why.
Did you watch my 180 video I just did?
Yeah, with the F3? Yes.
Did you see that quality I was getting on video?
Mm-hmm.
You could actually reach out and touch like that micro contrast on that lens.
Oh, it's a gorgeous lens.
180
I had
AF.
one, but I sold it because I'm just not again, it goes back to like how big the lens is.
And you don't shoot. What are you going to shoot at 180 millimeter film on weddings? You're not.
No. So what I do and it's funny because I only use that. So going back to my Olympus EM1, I have the 75 1.8 for that camera, and equivalent it's like 150 millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
But the only time I need that range is during the ceremony if there's a video team involved as well. That way, I keep my distance and they do their thing, I do my thing. But most of the time I work alone. There's no video team, so I seldom use it, but I always carry it just in case. So that's why I sold my 180 Nikkor. Otherwise I would have kept it, but I figured if I can get the same look, on a much smaller package, then there's no reason to hold on to the lens. And yeah, it hurt me to sell it because I was the original owner for it. But I don't like to hold on to gear. If I don't use it, if there's no use for it, I just, sell it, have somebody else actually use it, then just have it sit there.
Do you have any experience with the old Canon FD lenses?
No, not personally, but I used to sell them. But
those FD lenses are special. The L series,
mm-hmm.
They're hard to come by, man.
Oh yeah, I saw your video on that you had the 24 1.4.
Don't remind me, dude. Like that thing is worth 10 times what I paid now.
Yeah,
and I sold it for like
peanuts.
I didn't know, I didn't know.
Well, yeah, that's. Yeah.
The chat is dead, guys.
There's nobody here,
man. But no, I mean, so you said something very interesting the other day in the comment. You're like, this YouTuber that you were watching was just all like livid over like something that you watched about older cameras and newer cameras. Care to share what you were saying? Like a little bit?
Was it the guy that panic sold his stuff?
Yeah.
So I don't know him personally, but I guess he watches.
You don't need to name names. I
don't even remember his name anyway. But he watches Grace of Life, the live stream of Grace Westminster. So I guess like I saw the title there, and then that's why I clicked on it. Anyway, so what he did, he was talking about how Nikon is set to discontinue, or he's predicting that Nikon will discontinue the F mount this year. So he was like, I got all my F mount gear and I sold it to KEH. He like just sold everything. And I'm like, damn, bro, like, why are you panic selling? Like, homie here is acting like his shit is gonna stop working. Like the second Nikon mentions, we're gonna stop making them. So it was just crazy. And then he started talking about how he's gonna, buy Z mount gear and all this stuff. But I don't know. And I think to me that, I don't know, how can I say it? you're causing panic for no reason, and I think that's another issue that I have with most YouTube channels, that they just are like push everything, like you got to buy this or your photos suck. You like the way a lot of commentators say are like, your equipment is no good anymore, and you're not a good photographer unless you have the latest and greatest.
Yeah, I have a
But
problem.
even but let me tell you, like, this goes both ways, like, because on the film photography side, there's another live stream that I was watching a while ago, and they had a film wedding photographer, in Australia. And he started talking about Leica and all his film equipment, and then he started trashing all the current mirrorless cameras.
Uh-huh.
And he said, oh, the cameras nowadays, they have a dumb mode, and you don't have to be very smart to use a camera these days. And dude, and I found that so condescending. I was like, dude, come on, man. Like, this is exactly why people not hate, but like, look down on film photographers, because like they're always like holier than thou, like, oh, I'm using all manual, I'm still using, it's like, come on, man, it's just a tool, so it goes both ways, like there's extremes on the digital side, and there's also extremes on the film side. So but
Yeah,
but
you
the way
probably
he said it, I was
hear a
like,
lot of purists, like out there with the film, and
yeah.
you
And he was a young guy too. He wasn't like an old timer. I think he was like in his 30s or something. But the way he said it, I was like, dude, come on, man. Like
yeah,
don't go trashing everybody just because you don't use it. You get what I'm saying? Like, so, because it goes back to that, like, I like these lenses. I'm happy using them. They're loud, they're clunky, but I appreciate the quality that I get from it. The pictures that I get, they're
Of
pretty.
course.
My clients like it, so.
Dude, if it works for you, that's all that counts.
Yeah.
Albert is in the house. Albert, how are you, man?
Hey, how's it
Albert
going?
is the guy, the king of adapters. And,
Mr. Adapter.
yeah, he has all kinds of stuff, man. He's crazy. I'm looking for a V1 adapter right now. I'm looking for a Nikon 1 to F mount adapter. I want to mount some Nikon glass on that V1 that I have, but I don't want to pay $200 to buy the Nikon official one. I mean, but the good thing about that is they will autofocus AFS lenses, and so I've heard, and that's about $180 right now. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and pony up and buy that. But it's funny because I don't see deals on that damn adapter. You know what I'm talking about, the V1, the Nikon.
Yeah, I know the V1.
The first mirrorless that they tried to do and back in the day.
Yeah, and it's a shame. They should have gone micro 4/3 on it instead of making their own mount.
They went to a what's that sensor? It's tiny, man.
It's like 1 inch sensor, I think.
It's like 2.7 times.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have gone micro 4/3. Hindsight. Another camera that I wish I would have bought. Well, obviously I couldn't afford it at the time. I was working at Sammy's at the time. The Coolpix A.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little point and shoot camera that had the same sensor as an APS camera.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was like, I don't remember how much it was, but it was expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was close to $1,000 if I remember, like 800 or something. And even now, like, if you find one, it's still ridiculously expensive. And it's a shame that Nikon doesn't make something like that. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much they can do right now. They're
In fact, even Canon, their that new camera that they released, their vlogging camera, the V5, I think it's called.
I heard good things about
it. I saw that the sensor that's in that camera is very close to a micro 4/3, but they didn't want to call it micro 4/3, and they didn't want to use the micro 4/3 mount. Obviously, they're going to use their own mount, but they called it like a one point something sensor, but it's like a millimeter off from being a micro 4/3. So it's like, come on, man, like micro 4/3 gets not trash, but it doesn't get taken serious by a lot of people.
I heard a lot of good things about that lens. I mean, that camera. I heard a lot of good things about it. People really like it.
Yeah. The only thing it doesn't have is IBIS. I mean, if it had IBIS, it would be a perfect camera. I would get it because dude, it's cheap. In fact, hey, Z-Wade, I was telling Z-Wade, you can get that camera plus their 50 for like $850 before taxes. That's very affordable, I think.
Z-Wade, what's up, bro? I really like your video that you did. These latest videos that you did, very entertaining. And yes, I appreciate the fact that you are an entertaining photographer. You do this for entertainment purposes as well. I really like that video you did about talking about this guy pissed off about that wide angle lens you commented on or something, the 17 to what was it, something like that. But
yeah,
I like what he's doing, man. He's really doing some good things. And keep on going, bro. And yes, you are entertaining. Yes, you're a breath of fresh air. And I really like your content. So it's all that counts, right? Just do what you want to do. Just have fun. And rock and roll it, bro. Here, let me do this, bro. I wanna living up the chat. Let's see if anybody takes the bait here.
Rage bait. Throw some rage bait.
let me do this. And if you want to join Z-Wade, here's the link. You can join with your phone. I know you're at work probably. It's probably like 12 o'clock where you're at.
Yeah.
But there's a link, guys, if anybody wants to join. I think we're going to open this thing up. I got to make this thing more like I got to promote this thing, man. I really like doing this once a week, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy having people on and,
And thank you for having me, by the way.
You could be a regular on here. Just come on anytime, bro.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah. That's
the only thing is I just have to, get a like a 10 minutes heads up so I can take care of my chickens. So for those who don't know, this is my second year into raising chickens. I have 8 of them.
Raising chickens.
Yes. So I have a pretty big backyard and so it was dead for a long time. So I figured, hey, let me, which is funny because in downtown Lancaster, we have 2 breweries. And after walking out of the brewery, a little tipsy, I was like, what would be a good idea? Raising chickens. And I walked into the whatchamacallit, to the little pet shop, and I picked up some chickens just out of the blue. And that was 2 years ago. And then I also have some agave plants, succulent plants.
Yeah.
So within 7 years from now, it should start to produce sweet water or honey water.
Yeah.
And if you let that honey water ferment, you get what they call pulque. And so it has like the consistency of milk, and it has about 2% alcohol volume. So it's like a light beer, and it's very sour. And it's very popular in Mexico with like all the hipsters and all the cool kids. So
that's cool. No, that's cool. Man, Albert, you're so full of knowledge, bro. You're crazy, man. The taptors, flange distance, and that's pretty cool. No, that's good that you raise chickens and stuff, and you do all that kind of stuff.
I'm drowning in eggs. I have like a basket like this big filled with eggs. So I wasn't affected by the egg scare of recent months.
Hey, you met with Khan, right? When he came to
Yeah.
He stopped. Care to share what you guys did?
Yeah, he stopped by. When was it? A year ago, around this time now, like in March. And it was funny because it was during a winter storm. So he came in. I think let me try to remember. I think he came in from LA. So he came to LA and then he went up to San Francisco, but he was gonna like do like a little road trip. So he was only here for a couple of days in LA. So
did he come in alone, or was he with his family, or what?
No, he came with his wife.
His wife.
Yeah,
okay,
he was with his wife. Yeah, so I met the lovely one. This is pretty cool. So this is what happened.
She's Russian.
So,
She's Russian.
No, I want to say Czech or Polish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So you met Mr. and Mrs. Khan.
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Khan. Hey, Khan, by the way. Hi, mushy. So what happened was he came in because if I remember correctly, he was doing like interviews. Like he also came in for work.
Yeah.
So
Wait, let's pause that story real quick.
Yeah.
What's up, Z-Wait?
What's up, man? Just popping in real quick to say hello.
I know you're pressed for time, so let's get you in here. How are you?
Good, man. Just on my lunch break.
how you doing? How you doing?
Oh,
Good.
nice.
In the backyard. You want to see something that YouTube ain't seen yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Marin, come here. Come here. Come and see me.
Oh, wow. Nice. It's a puppy.
I said I'd never do it again.
Got a dog, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. Congrats, man.
Thanks. Yeah, we in between making YouTube videos and picking up poop.
What's his or her name?
Her name's Marin.
Marin.
Yeah, and I might get her a playmate, in maybe like 3 months or something, and it'll be a male Doberman Pinscher. And I've decided if I do that, because she loves my parents' dogs, if I do that, I'm gonna get a male named Monroe, and it's gonna be Marin Monroe.
Nice.
So that's cool, man. I like your videos as of late. You're doing good things.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that
one-
video you were talking about earlier, I just made that because I got tired of like I don't get bothered by like haters at all. I mean, you know me, Vahagraphy, we've talked about it. Like I like trolling them back, but I just wanted something I could just like copy and paste that link, and then they can just go and click on that, and it's another view for me. And they're like, oh, okay.
That's really cool. You know David, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool. And that
Yeah,
one that you
I'm
did
in the
about the
comment section all
sensor,
the time.
dude. I got a question for you about that sensor video you just put out.
Yeah.
How the hell did you do so much like that's so much time spent doing all that research? Like that's crazy research you did. So much information in that video, man.
Yeah, it was it's probably two or 3 days of
Wow.
being up until midnight. And then, like what I did was I took everything that I was finding. I actually rewrote that script like 5 times. And because I had some information that I thought for sure, like I knew. And then, I dug a little bit deeper and found out that wasn't the case. And then there were a couple instances where I had to verify with like AI. And then on a couple things, AI was wrong. And so I redid that script like 5 times. And then all that work that I put into it, and I've had a bunch of people say, oh, well, Renaissance actually doesn't make the processor. I'm like,
Well, actually,
dude, it's an example. And by the way, I did think it was Renaissance made, I think, the D90,
Yeah.
I think, processor. And so actually in that video, the little processor that shows up whenever I'm talking about it, that's actually like a D90 sensor. And so initially in the original script, it was Renaissance. And in the final script, it was supposed to be like that the Socia Next or whatever. And that was like the one thing that slipped up in that final scripting. And people were like, no, this video's bullshit because you got that. And I was just like, dude, just chill out, dude. Just enjoy the time I put into it. If it's not for you, like, just piss off, dude.
Yeah. That's one thing. One thing I commend you on is you don't give a crap. Like you go to town.
I just do it, man.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Albert says, awesome job on the sensor video.
I appreciate that.
And he loves the coating on your Marin.
The what?
Coating on your dog.
Oh,
Beautiful
yeah.
coating. Wow, that weather looks great there.
It's absolutely beautiful outside. It's not real hot. Got a nice breeze going on. We got these helicopters. We keep getting cold, hot. And so these things are just falling from the tree, and they're like all over the yard.
what is
Nice.
that?
We call them helicopters around here because whenever you drop them, they like go like that.
Is that a trampoline in the back?
Yeah, my nieces and nephews
Oh,
use that.
nice.
Not me. I've had one back surgery.
Oh,
But anyway,
Man.
yeah, I just wanted to pop in and say hey real quick. You know, letting the dog out and everything. I got to figure out something to eat for lunch before I head back and clean up a pile of dog crap in the playpen.
Well, appreciate coming in. Z Wade photo on YouTube.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me. You guys stay cool, yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Later,
Thanks,
yo.
brother. Thank you. Yeah, he's always cool, man. I like Z Wade. You know, I like Z Wade photo.
I think when he did the She Wade videos, those were pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that. I like this aspect of it. Like
Yeah.
just bringing people on real quick. Hey, man, it's a community. You know, like I love this. You know, no attitudes, no egos. No one's better than anybody here. Everybody's just equal. Doesn't matter if you're well known. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're not known. It doesn't matter if you're famous. Whatever, bro. Like, I think photography community should do less with less ego. Like, we should chill out on the egos a little bit, you know? Like, so. Someone else got the link. What link? The link is up on the chat. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, have you noticed like photography community there's a lot of egos involved.
There is.
You notice that?
And it's funny because I feel like it's slowly becoming like the gamer community where, you know, there's a lot of ego and there's a lot of beef between YouTubers, and I don't know, man.
I'm over that, bro. I'm over that.
Yeah.
I'm over that.
Sometimes, you know what?
Share.
I'm convinced that these famous YouTubers are all in on the beef videos, like, because it just seems like so scripted. Like everything just falls into place. Where like, well, I'm going to talk smack about this guy, and then they're going to do a reaction video. And it's
Bro,
just,
let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story about camera conspiracies. Okay. I thought the guy had like more of like a cooler kind of like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to get hurt sense of humor kind of thing. Like the video I made about him I was trying to be entertaining, and I wasn't trying to be like hurtful or, you know, like I call him a comedian.
Yeah.
He is a funny guy. He is a photographer or video creator, but he happens to be talented in a way where, you know, Cameron, you know, Casey, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know him, but I know of him. Yeah.
So it's like, come on, look at his videos, bro. Like, he's just a funny guy, right? So I call him a comedian, and you're a funny guy, and I made the video, and not to be like hurtful or anything. There was nothing wrong with it. I just thought that I happened to disagree with his take on the 85-1.2 Nikon lens. But then I said, you're a comedian. You know, I was trying to be funny and try to play that whole thing like that. He makes a freaking like response video, and like he came off like kind of hurt that I call him a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, come on, dude. Like, I'm just trying to be like, you know, I'm kind of feeding off your energy and your shtick, you know. And he kind of like, he didn't like it or something like that. And he made a video, and then it was fun. That whole thing just kind of like blew out of proportion, where his crowd kind of like said, "Who is this guy? You know, this guy." And I had so much slack in the comments.
Yeah, and it's a shame, man. You know that people just can't take a little bit of what is it called? Self-deprecation? Is that what the term is? You know, like you can't take yourself too seriously. See, I'm an idiot, and I know I'm an idiot. You know, like whenever I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You're not an idiot, first of all. I happen to really like you, and I consider you my friend. But like, no, bro. Like for example, you know Amar, right?
Yeah.
247.
Yeah.
I didn't know
who
he was. Yeah, I didn't know who he was or anything like that. He made a video about me. And he didn't even contact me about it. He made a video about me, just like I made a video about Casey.
Mm-hmm.
And in that video, you know, he was trying to be funny, and he was funny, and he made fun of my glasses, and He made fun of in a good way, right?
Yeah.
I didn't go out and get hurt about it. I didn't say like, "Why are you making a video?" Like, no, I didn't do that. I and just these egos sometimes, like other photography egos, like even not in YouTube, like even like when you talk to other photographers in the field and at Sammy's, I'm pretty sure you came across so many egos when customers selling cameras, right? Well, I know this.
Believe it or not, I actually came across more egos when I was in photography school than I did anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I went to ELAC, East Los Angeles College, from 2015 to around 2019.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the reason why I went is because back in high school, I got a scholarship for $1,500. And it was free money, but I could only get it if I went to college.
Yeah.
Right. But they were going to cut it off by the time I was 25. So I was 24 and I was like, you know what? Let me just go take a quick photography class, right? Like just so I can get the money and run. But I ended up staying 4 years. But anyway, and then
you came across a lot of ego.
I did, yeah. So there was this one guy who actually two. I'll talk about two. So the first guy, he was a street photographer, and I think to me, and I apologize if anybody here is a street photographer, but I feel street photographers have the biggest egos out of all of us. And for those of you who don't know, a street photographer is those types that go on the public streets and just get in your face and take a picture with a flash. And and they take the whole "you're in public, so you have no rights" like to an extreme. Anyway, so he would always criticize everybody's work, like if
it was no good,
if it didn't fit his criteria, right? Like if it didn't have elements of street photography, like because we would always have critiques.
But see, where's that coming from? Like, is he trying to educate to be a better?
No, because the way he wouldn't give you like actual feedback.
Yeah.
He would just say, "Oh, if it would have been me, I would have done this and this and this." I'm like, okay, but like I don't know. It's just like the way he said it. It was always like from a what is that called? Like from ivory tower. Like his work was always the best. And he would always get triggered if you said anything about his work.
Yeah,
like anything. So I don't know. He just
I don't think like a lot of these YouTube photographers, I don't think they have like, if you were like friends with them in like personal capacity, I don't think they'd be like that.
I mean, as a friend, he was a cool guy. He's a pretty cool guy. But when it came to like work, like his work, that's where, which is funny because sometimes, at least for me, I appreciate somebody's work, but I don't like them as a person, or it's the other way around, where it's like I like them or I don't like their work. It's one or the other. So
it's funny because like when I talk to some of these established guys, well, first of all, you got to go through their secretary, right? Like, that's, you heard that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to my secretary. All right. But I mean, I've had some of my clients have been really well-known people, and some of my clients have been very wealthy business people.
Yeah.
And with no attitudes, nothing like that. And I've dealt with a lot of people like that, well-known people. And when you talk to somebody in this community, we're both photographers. We're both doing almost the same thing. And you might make more money than me, or you might be, have more opportunities than me. Doesn't mean you need to come off as a jerk or, because I met a lot of celebrities that are established and they're cool, like, who are you to just give me attitude or like talk to my secretary?
Yeah. I did have a talk to my secretary experience in Ritz Camera. So this was in 2005 when the Sony, and I'll never forget this. It was the Sony T5, and it was one of those like they used to call them credit card cameras, where they were thin. They were the size of a credit card. and they were expensive. I think they were like $500, and 2005, $500 was a lot of money. So Lindsay Lohan comes in with 3 of her friends. They come in and she's like, "How much is the T5?" And it's, give her the price. And she's like, "Okay." And she leaves. And then this other girl comes in and she's like, "Oh, I'm Lohan's assistant. I'm here to pick up five of those cameras that she asked for." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And packaged them up. She gave me her credit card, and it said Lindsay Lohan on it, and swiped it, and off she went. So I was like, "Oh, that was weird."
Wait, so this was at the store?
Yeah, this is at Ritz Camera. Yeah.
Oh,
2005.
nice. Ah, nice. I'd love to do that. Like, one of my bucket list items is to kind of like be friends with one of my musician idols and that are into photography. Like, Geddy Lee would be perfect. Like, he's into photography. He's one of the best bass players in the world, but he happens to be in my favorite band, Rush.
Yeah.
But I found out that he loves photography and he's into birding and he's into like cameras and lenses, and oh my God, right? So I'd love to just like hang out and talk shop with him, and because I don't know his ability in camera. He might be an excellent photographer. I don't know.
Or he might not be.
No, he might be an excellent. I mean, like I said, he's a smart dude, and he's very like he's pretty much does a great thing. So I'm pretty sure he studied from the grades and he knows what he's doing. And he might not be. You're right. But I'd love to just talk shop with him and doing things like that. Dunning-Kruger. Oh man, I did a search on that. It says
the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias in which people with limited competence in a particular domain overestimate their abilities. That's the definition.
Yeah, and there was this other guy. Oh, the second guy that I wanted to talk to when I was at ELAC. He was like the photo department darling. This guy couldn't do any wrong. Like he would always get featured. And we had ELAC has a museum attached to the campus, the Vincent Price Museum,
East LA College.
And so every October, they would open up the museum for students, right? So you could submit your work to have it featured at the student show every year. And this guy would always win. He would always win first place, always get all the awards. And again, he kind of had like that ego where he'd be walking around and like he wouldn't even say hi to you, even if you like, because when you're walking in the hallway, you like the hallway's like this little, so you have to like bump into people. He wouldn't even look at you, dude. Like he had that perceived.
Well, you know what? A very smart man once told me to always treat people the way you like to be treated.
Oh yeah. Well, and get this. So it turned out like a few years later, it turned out that he was like how can I say it in the most PG way possible? He would touch the ladies very inappropriately, let's put it that way. So like everybody started like all the people involved, they started sharing their stories on what would happen during his photo shoots and like how.
So he had an ego and he was a pervert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and he went into hiding, and we never, we just, yeah. So and what I've learned is that you can never. Almost everything is an image, it's a facade, like just because somebody's like, oh, I'm number one high and mighty doesn't mean squat, at the end of the day. So I'm glad that I experienced that because I was able to see that not everybody is who they say they are, so
no, I the only thing I would tell people like that is just think about where you came from. Like if it wasn't for who that you're this photographer today, right?
Yeah.
Like what opportunity opened up for you to be like the NBA photographer? Like how did you make it to be the official photographer or so and so? Or like who gave you that opportunity? Remember that, and then it's life cycle. You know what I mean? Like after you, there's going to be somebody else, and why don't you give that same opportunity that somebody gave you? And don't worry, you're not going to lose work. You're not going to like, you know what I mean? Like there's always plenty of work for everybody. A lot of photographers, they worry about that. They go like, well, there's too many of us and I don't want to share my knowledge because I'm afraid of them passing me up. And
Yeah.
yeah, nah. I mean,
Yeah, but even then, it comes down to personality as well, because there's some photographers that I used to look up to, admired their work, and like they have zero personality.
and
So
when
I'm
you
like,
met them, you're like, shit, I wish I never met you.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is one photographer that I really looked up to, still look up to, by the way, and she's also a Trump supporter, which was very surprising. Um, her name is Tanya Lippard, and she's retired now. But she started off as a model a long time ago, and then she got into makeup. What's it called? Makeup, hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And then she became a photographer. And then she was a fashion photographer, and then she was a wedding photographer. And a long time ago, she used to do workshops. I'm not sure if you remember, back in like 2012 to like 2014, like every photographer had a workshop. Like that was like the thing to do.
Yeah.
Now it's presets, everybody has a preset pack. But she did a mini workshop one day in San Francisco. Because usually she would do like week-long workshops, and they were very expensive. I couldn't afford them at the time. But she did that one mini one, and I, like you said, like if somebody wants to buy the 85 one too, they'll figure out how to buy it, right?
Yeah.
So I figured out how to get up there, how to where to stay. And this is when Airbnb was like brand new. Anyway, long story short, I met her, and I'm glad I did, because those few hours that I spent in that workshop influenced the way I have taken pictures since, and still do. Like everything that I learned from her that day, I still use it today.
Yeah. And imagine if she didn't give you that. Imagine if she just turned your back,
Yeah.
like how different you would be right now, how much you learned from her.
Yeah, I learned
Like,
a
give
lot.
that opportunity. I mean, if you're a what's that woman's name? That real famous woman, the most paid photographer. Who's that? The richest photographer? Help me out in the comments. She's very, very well known. Studio photographer. Who?
What genre does she do?
She does like she shoots like the kings of England and queens. Like, you know what I mean? Like she has these big jobs.
Annie Leibovitz?
Yes. Her.
Which funny enough, I don't even think she's a photographer per se.
What?
She's more of a creative director. Like, because she has a massive team, and then not to discount her work by any means, right? But because again, like she's, I you know what? And I think I saw her once when I was in Santa Barbara, with my cousin. She was in a little red car, and I have a picture of her. I'll send it to you whenever I could find it again. But I was like, hey, that's Annie Leibovitz, and when she was driving in her little convertible car,
I contacted her once.
No way.
Yeah, she's secretary. Well, she doesn't do podcast. Okay. Well,
Excuse me.
I wonder if I cut her a check if she do podcast.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Right?
Yeah. But now she's more of a creative director, where like she has the team kind of set up everything, and she's just.
I mean, I'm not trying to like. Okay, fine. You're somebody, and your time is money. I understand that. Whatever. Like that's cool. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, put yourself in her shoes. You're not going to come to a show 1 hour of your stuff and give somebody free interview, right?
Yeah. And do you know how she started? She started as the photographer for Rolling Stone when Rolling Stone was barely, getting when their magazines were zines, where it's like self-made magazines. She started like that.
You know who Ross Helfin is?
Photographing artists.
Have you heard of Ross Helfin? Like
No.
very well known rock and roll photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like one of the top. He's done a lot of bands, like Ross Helfin. I'd love to talk to him. Hey, Albert says Rockstar Bryan Adams is truly a great photographer. Summer of '69. Dun dun dun. Bryan Adams. Yeah, that's cool, man. So I'm gonna do this for you, bro. I hate to put you on the spot, but I want to do this. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna name you a YouTube photographer.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me one word, the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh man, assuming I know who they are.
Yeah, you will. I'll try to make it so you know who they are.
All right.
All right, you ready? All right, here we go. Here we go, David.
One word?
Yes, one word to describe who you think. And this is all fun and games, bro.
All right.
We're not picking on anybody. Jared Polin.
Loud.
All right. Tony Northrup.
Irrelevant.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Really?
Yeah.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
If you want to stop, I'd stop, bro.
No.
I
I mean, hey, I'm
want
just
nobody
being
to
honest.
pay-
And these are my personal opinions. My opinions have nothing to do with Vahagraphy channel.
But
Or
no, I don't want you to be like, I'm not going to edit this. There's no
Yeah.
editing.
Yeah, no, like that's just my opinion. I haven't seen his videos in a long time, so it's irrelevant to me. All right.
Oh, the
So,
videos are relevant. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Not him. I think he's successful. I think he's done.
Oh,
good.
of course. Yeah. Again, I'm not discounting, his work,
Okay.
and but to me. Okay, so
Okay.
these are my opinions.
Art of Photography. Tony Forbes. What's his name? Forbes.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know him?
Yeah. Used to watch him. Not anymore. Educational.
You know he really like shitted on that street photographer. What's her name? That got famous after she died. What was her name?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
man.
about? Like he made a video on he got so much slack from that video.
Well, but
Saying,
again,
you're jealous,
wasn't.
you know.
She wasn't a photographer. She was a documentarian. Like if you really want to get technical with it, she just wanted to document her daily life, or not her daily life, but like the things that she saw, and she just happened to use photography as the medium to do it.
Yeah.
You
What
know?
was her name? I can't believe I forgot her name. Whatever. So anyway.
I saw the movie. The movie was pretty good.
You saw the doc? The documentary you watched?
Yeah, I saw it.
Interesting, man. Yeah.
Excuse me. But you know what? I do have a little bone to pick with that, because the guy who purchased the box,
Yeah.
like the way, well, again, it's just my opinion. The way he came off it seemed like he got a little greedy once he figured out that he can make money off of it.
Yeah.
And then it sort of like evolved from a preservation. Vivian Meyer, exactly. It evolved from trying to preserve what this lady had done into, not a Ponzi scheme, but just like
He made money.
Yeah, he wanted to make money off of it, and I get it.
But at the same time, he made her famous.
He did, but I don't know. It's just the way he came off. Like it just rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think she would have actually had the fame?
Well, because again, like what a lot of people that he interviewed said, that she did not want her work to be out there. She didn't want anybody to see it. Like, because she truly did take photos for her own pleasure. Like for herself, and she didn't want anybody to see it. So.
Yeah, but there was a risk of having all that stuff destroyed, though, because what if somebody destroyed all her junk?
I mean, true, but again, like because you also have to see it from her point of view. You have to be in her shoes. Like she really, and again, like the people who knew her, who were interviewed, said she wouldn't have been okay with her work being on display like that.
Yeah.
And I get it. I completely get it. Like, sometimes I take some photos where I'm like, you know what? Like, I like these photos, but I'm not going to share them, because who cares? Like, these are things that make me happy. That, like, for example, like my chickens. I photograph my chickens all the time. I'm not going to show people my chickens. These are just photos for me. Like when they're little, and I see them grow. Like, nobody cares about that, but I do. So it's kind of like that. Where like, you create art just for the sake of creating it, not so much for, for a clout, if that makes sense. That's kind of what I feel about the way he went off it, and the way that the people who knew her talked about her. So I see it. I'm more on her side than I am with her her being, but her work is great. For anybody who hasn't seen the movie, the documentary, I highly recommend you check it out.
All right, so the next one, Grays of Westminster.
Fun.
Oh,
we didn't even talk about the con store.
Oh, that's right. We cut you off. Okay, we'll get into that real quick.
Yeah.
But let me just finish with this. Let's see who else. Z Wage Photo.
Funny.
You do a couple for me. Let's see if I know who you know.
Well, they're like same ones.
The same ones. Okay.
Yeah, same ones. Off the top of my head, yeah, it would be the same ones.
Okay. So anyway, you met with Khan from
Yes.
David Westminster. He came.
So it was
in
about a
with
year
wife.
ago this time. So he came in, right? Because he actually did. He came in for work. And so we were trying to coordinate, a day to meet up. And I told him, hey, like if you have some free time, I'll show you around in East LA, for some tacos, because he really wanted to eat authentic Mexican food, authentic street Mexican food.
Wait,
right?
so you went from Palmdale and you met up at East LA?
Yeah. So I picked him up where he was staying at in the Hollywood area.
Okay.
So I took some mezcal because he also
he
wanted
tall?
to try mezcal.
Is he tall?
He's about my height, and I'm 5'10".
What's your
I'm
5'10"?
5'10".
Oh, I thought he was a shorter guy.
Yeah, he's about my height. I'm 5'10".
All right.
Which is funny because 5'10" is debatable, because a long time ago when I used to work in the fashion industry, one of my models was 5'10", and she was taller than me. So maybe I'm not 5'10", but I don't know. It's weird.
So you picked them up.
Yeah, so I picked them up. Well, first we had mezcal. So that was the first for him.
That's a tequila kind of tequila, right?
Yeah, it's well, technically I don't want to get too into the technicalities, but all a tequila is a mezcal. So mezcal is like the grandfather name, right? And from mezcal you have variations of it.
Yeah.
And tequila is a variation of mezcal.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the story. So you picked them up.
Yeah, so I picked them up. We had some mezcal. And then I told him, hey, we're gonna drive out to East LA, right? And yeah, and that's what I like, that they were both up for it. They're like, and I told him, look, it's a little dodgy. That's the word they use, but here we say sketchy.
You've been to Lupez?
Hmm?
You've been to Lupez in East LA?
Yeah, Lupez, but we
Lupez
didn't go to
burritos.
Lupez. We went to a few places. One being King Taco, which is right next to Lupez. I actually used to live right behind that.
Dude,
King
I
Taco.
hate King Taco.
You don't like King Taco?
I can't stand it.
Well,
meat
it's like
tastes
King
weird.
Taco is like the McDonald's of street tacos.
Yeah.
It's one of those where like you just have to try it once. And I told him, I was upfront with him. I was like, look, this is not going to be the best one out of the bunch that we're going to try, but it's one of those you have to try it once, just to say that you went.
So you went to King Taco.
We went to King Taco. That's the big one, but all the other ones were all little legit street tacos. And then I think what they enjoyed most was the deep fried quesadilla from this place. And then we went to a bar right across. Well, actually, it was his wife's idea. She wanted to go into like this. It was a dive bar, so we went in there and they were like blasting Mexican music. And then we had a couple of beers in there. It was pretty fun. And I think we finished off at Leo's Tacos, and they're on Sunset and Sunset and Western. So that's where we finished off. Yeah. And then the next day they were heading up to I don't remember where they were heading. I think Vegas. Not Vegas, but towards that area. And I told him, hey, like I'm actually on the way. So, like you should drop by my place, check out my chickens. And they did. They stopped over on the way up there, and he took a photo of me with my little chickens. So
that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Like that's so cool. I can't imagine Khan in LA. I don't know. I just can't. I can't.
Yeah, it was
see-
weird, and I kept telling him. I told him, dude, it's so weird, like seeing you in person, because I'm so used to seeing you on
No,
TV.
I can't see that. I can't see him at a King Taco in East LA. I just can't do that. But
Yeah, I
that's
wish I
so
would have
cool.
taken pictures. I didn't take any pictures.
No, that's so cool. Like that's
Yeah.
so cool. I love those kind of things.
Yeah, but I told him, dude, man, like I appreciate that you're open. That both you and your wife are open to, experiencing something that a lot of people don't get to experience in LA. Like some people have, live in LA their entire lives and have never been to East LA or have never had street food. You get what I'm saying? Or have never had mezcal.
So
From
how much
the
of
bottle that
how much of the meeting was photography talk? Did you guys talk photography?
I don't think we did. No,
Not all, huh?
Mm-mm.
What did he think of? What did he think of the play? What did he think of LA? What did he think of it?
Well, funny enough, they did a few of the tourist spots, like Santa Monica Pier, the usual, right? From what they told me, they liked my little improv tour more than the
mainstream
usual
stuff,
tourist
of course.
spots.
Of
So,
course, I would avoid all that.
Mhm.
I would go to like somebody that knows like just real
yeah.
places, like that. But that's totally cool, man.
Yeah, as I said, yeah, I was happy that they were open to it. And I told them, man, it's the only bad part was that they weren't here, like a few extra days. Otherwise, I would have taken them to a few more spots.
Becky, it'd be nice if Becky went too.
I know, yeah, that'd be cool.
Imagine Becky in LA. Like I would give her a nice tour, and I don't know if she's been. I think she's been here. But,
yeah, but she normally goes to Florida.
Florida, yeah.
From what she said.
family
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
cool,
but
man.
that was pretty cool. But yeah, I told him it's sort of like meeting a celebrity, where like you're so used to seeing them on TV that when you see them in person, it's like whoa, like you're real. Like it was that.
Yeah,
for me, it
you-
was that kind of experience. Like whoa, like
Yeah, I the one thing I wanted to tell you about the ego thing we were talking about,
Mhm.
the subject, that just came to me right now. I just remembered it. When I look at celebrities and I look at like famous people, no matter how poor or rich they are, or where their financial situation is or anything like that, I treat people like equals. We're all equals.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how rich you are. It doesn't matter how successful you are. We're just two human beings, in different walks of life. That's how I treat people. Like when I meet like musicians that I really like their music.
yeah.
We're just two equals. Like there's this Sopranos episode that comes to mind. You watch Sopranos?
No, never.
Well,
Saw
anyway,
it.
they're like two gangsters in a van stuck in the freaking boonies. One of them has a higher rank than the other.
Mhm.
So one of them is like a captain, the other one is like a soldier in the mafia world.
Yeah.
And the soldier's like, well, right now we're just two assholes stuck in the forest. You don't have to tell me what to do because I won't listen. And you know what I mean. So it makes a lot of sense. Like I just treat people equally, and I treat people like the way I like to be treated.
Yeah,
I
and you'd
know-
be surprised. In my experience, because I've, thanks to working at the different camera shops that I worked at, I noticed that the new money people are the ones that come in with like this attitude compared to the old money people that come in and like they treat you like a human being, right? Like they treat you as equal.
and
Obviously-
also old money people don't show it off.
oh yeah.
And you-
Like for example, when I used to work at Cañada Camera, I used to print the photos for the Carusos, for Rick Caruso's family, the mayor candidate. His wife used to come in and take pictures there. Also, Kate
Caruso, yeah.
Bosworth.
Mhm.
I'm not. She's an actress. What's cool about Kate Bosworth is that she has two colored eyes.
Mhm.
Like one is green, one is blue. I'm not sure if you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, well,
Yeah.
her parents would come in and photograph, print their pictures there. So yeah, so I always appreciated that, where and you know what, and I have to. There's no way around it. When I used to work in Ritz, I always felt like it was the new money types that would come in.
What location is this, Everett?
The Beverly Center.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Yeah, on
All
the
right.
8th
No
floor.
wonder all these celebrities would walk in.
Yeah, so I
Right.
always felt like there was more attitudes there compared to when I was working at Kenyatta. And at Kenyatta, it was more like old money,
Yeah.
very conservative. And it's funny because at the time, before I started working at Kenyatta, I was more liberal, right? Like most people in LA are. And watching SNL and watching the news, they were like, oh, Republicans are meanies and they're bad and this and this. But then like when I met, Republicans in person, I was like, dang, like people who are conservative are nothing like what the media portrays. And this was back in 2007, 2008, so I really appreciate my time that, that I worked at in Kenyatta, working with like old money types. And that's sort of like where I found where I learned that concept, where like, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how successful you are, like you're a piece of crap if you don't treat people with dignity and respect.
You're a piece of crap if you're a piece of crap. I met Slash once and he was a piece of shit.
No way.
Yeah. I met him. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
I kind of lost respect for him after that. Kind of wish I didn't meet him. But like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I guess I'd rather not meet my heroes if I'm going to be disappointed. So, but like I said, if photographers, some photographers, established ones, it's hard to figure them out sometimes. Because you do the same thing. It's kind of like, well, I'm not like that. How come, you must have had a bad childhood growing up or something. Because I'm a people's person, man.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of like losing business to somebody, or I'm not afraid of sharing what I know. I want you to succeed. I want you to be a better photographer. And there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. Like, don't get hurt if I tell you, hey, do this, try this. As long as it's coming from a good place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to tell you suck. I'm trying to make you improve. You can tell, right? Like, you can tell. So, but
yeah, and going back to the whole aspect of like wanting to succeed, like every now and again, I get people hitting me up on email through my contact form on my website, and they're like, hey, I really like your work, just trying to see if you need a second photographer or an assistant, this and this. And I tell them, man, like, I gotta be honest with you, like I book really small weddings where like I don't need a second photographer, but if the day comes where I need somebody, to cover me, then yeah, dude, like, thank you for reaching out. Like, and that feels, I know this is gonna sound weird, but it feels weird to have someone contact me to be my second or assistant. You get what I'm saying? Because usually it's I'm the one who does that. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, how they say, like, you're successful when. So like I ever since I rebranded 2 years ago, I started getting more emails about people hitting me up about wanting to be my second or an assistant. But as I said earlier, like, I don't photograph big weddings. Like, most of my weddings are capped at like 100 guests for a small wedding. Sometimes it's only like 30 people, sometimes it's only like 5 or nobody, sometimes it's just me and the client. So there's no need for any for a backup. So unless one day I do really big weddings again, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need.
I was watching a podcast the other day, a different genre altogether, but the podcast host had a guest on that was top of the genre. Like, he was the #1 channel on YouTube in that genre, and he was saying that how he gets hit up with other YouTubers saying, let's collab, man, let's collab. And even guys that hadn't started their channels yet would get hit up. They would hit this guy up saying, hey man, let's collab, I want to make my first video. So you get all these like requests from people, like, hit up, like, help me out, this and that. And it was interesting to just listen to that. And you'd be surprised at how similar the photo YouTube community is with other YouTube communities. and this was the casino host, the casino slot community on YouTube.
Oh yeah. My dad watches a lot of those channels.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
guy's number one on it, and it's so interesting the fights they have. Like it's so similar to photography channel. I'm like, man, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Like I can relate to what they're going through, you know. So it's pretty interesting, you know. So, but yeah, no, if anybody wants to start YouTube, like, go for it, do it, you know. Like, don't wait, just do it, you know. Who cares what people think?
Yeah, and again, and it goes back to you'd be surprised with what people are drawn to, you know, like
Yeah.
because sometimes I watch videos of photographers who just talk about like story time. Like this is what happened, you know, with my client, or like the whole Sepia Gate thing. Remember when that blew up a year ago? You know, I found a lot of photographers who were talking about it, and I on some I stayed, some I didn't bother again, but like because I like their take on it. I wonder what happened to that lady, the photographer, the Sepia photographer. I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, like sometimes I do appreciate that, you know, like when people just have something to tell because you can relate to what they're going through. Like for example, there was this other guy. Oh, I forgot his name. He's actually a DJ, a wedding DJ, and he uploaded this one video on what was it? On vendors not being allowed to drink. So that's why I clicked on it. I was like, "Ooh, let me see what we has to say." And then he was like we kind of had like the same point of view. We're like, we don't have to drink, but it's funny when they tell us we're not supposed to drink. That's when we actually want to drink.
Yeah, it's kind of like I hate that, you know, like who are you? You know what I mean? We're not
Yeah.
kids. Like, come on, dude. Really?
It goes back to the whole pizza thing, you know, like, oh, you can't take 2 slices of pizza. It's like, dude, come on, man. We're all adults here. Like, we're not gonna get
And it,
plastered, but geez,
and
you
I
know,
hate
we've
when
been on
people
our
think like they're doing you a favor, like by you just being here. Like you're lucky to be here, you
yeah,
know? You
yeah.
shouldn't complain. You should be lucky to be here. Like they're giving us some kind of like opportunity. No, asshole. I booked the gig. It's my client.
Mhm.
You know, you have nothing. The coordinators. I hate when coordinators get on your cases, you know.
Oh,
So
dude, I have a I have a bone to pick with coordinators and planners. Like, I just have not had a good experience with, except for one. Out of all the ones that I work with, I have not had a good experience with
yeah.
any of them, except for one. And I wasn't even, I wasn't even the photographer for that. I was actually the assistant to the photographer for that. And see, and they were very professional, the planners, because what they did was when we got there, we had like a little group pep talk, right? Like all the main character vendors, we all got together, and she was like, this is the overall plan for the day. This is what's gonna happen. And every 2 hours we're gonna meet up here, right? And we're gonna, you know, go over like whatever, like see, and to me, I like that. Like I like that because you know exactly what's coming. Like, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, if you've been doing this for a long time, you already know, you know, it's, you know, it's getting ready, first look, ceremony, like you already know. But it's cool to have someone take care of I mean, it's in the name. You're a wedding planner, the planning process,
Yeah.
right? It's good to have somebody kind of take care of that, and
Yeah,
all
but
you have
sometimes
to worry about
sometimes their shit is like they make
is
it
the
harder.
pictures.
Sometimes they make it
Yeah,
so
like, but that was the only time. Like, in all the other times, I would come in and we wouldn't have a pep talk. We wouldn't have like a heads up of, hey, this is what's gonna happen, right? Like,
yeah.
it's like, why are you even here for, right? Like, you're just making my job more difficult, right? Because
I
again,
know.
in my head, I already know what I need to do, but
Yeah.
because they want to act like they're number one, then they impede with what I'm trying to do. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
we just clash, and it's just not.
There's one photographer I really like and respect in our wedding photography business.
Yeah,
She's well known. She's YouTube. She has a YouTube channel.
yeah.
But I really like her approach. I really like her attitude. I really like her skills. I really like her talent. I really like her work. And that's Vanessa Joy. Yeah, she does Canon. She's a Canon shooter. I've had her on my show.
Yeah.
I really respect her and I like her attitude. I wouldn't mind going out with her one time, second shooting for her, and just seeing the way she conducts business, because that's one photographer that says, you know what, that gets me excited. She gets me excited when it comes to wedding photography and how she conducts business, how she shoots. Has nothing to do with the brand she shoots. Has nothing to do with that. It just has to do with just
With
her
how they
energy,
do it.
her energy, her vibe, her photos are great. And just I would love to just second shoot for one day, and I'll even do it for free. I want to charge her. I just want to be there. Okay, maybe third shoot, just so
Yeah.
I'm not working all the time. I just want to observe, and I want to, like, just maybe go behind the scenes and kind of, you know what? I'm gonna hit her up. I'm gonna say I want to go behind the scenes of one of your LA weddings.
Mhm.
I want to just do some kind of like a mini vlog on your day in the life of Vanessa Joy, and it'd be really interesting to just capture that. Will I be? I don't know. It'll be fun. I want to see the way she does things. So, oh man, I had a coordinator no show on a wedding day, and I guess everyone assumed that the other hired hand, me, was supposed to know what the to me and the DJ dynamic duo, the thing. Yeah. In Armenian weddings, like the shoots that I normally do, we're the coordinators. So the photographer is usually the guy that everybody like asks, and what are
It's
we
funny
doing
that
now?
I, having worked for an Armenian wedding photography studio for a few years and seeing so many weddings, I kind of already know like the
The
structure
structure,
of an
yeah,
Armenian wedding from start to finish.
they're long,
They're very
they're
long.
long.
Yeah. And it would be funny because sometimes the photographers will come in like after the wedding and they'll say, man, the groom got fucking blitzoed, like at the getting ready, and he was just drunk like the whole time. And I was like, oh, those are my kind of weddings.
They take care of as far as
Yeah, and they take
food
care of
and
you. I like that,
drinks.
and I really appreciate that.
And what about all the bottles of liquor on the table?
Yeah, like, and that's why I was like, man, like I really want to get, but the only thing I don't like about the Armenian weddings is that they're very, very long.
Long,
So,
yeah.
and for
Not all of
film,
them. Yeah.
it's impractical to photograph that on film. So that's why I didn't even
Just
bother.
think of the paycheck, bro. That's all you got to think of, the paycheck
I
at the end.
I
That's
know,
it.
but yeah, but as far as like the client vendor relationship, that at least from the weddings that I saw, like yeah, I appreciate that they take care of you, that yes, you're a vendor, but they don't treat you like a vendor, if that
No,
makes sense.
you're sitting
Like
with them. You're sitting in the main hall.
yeah,
You're getting the same food. You're not
mhm.
getting molded sandwiches in the
Or the
back.
box lunch, which
Yeah.
funny enough, at one of my weddings, where the coordinator was just yeah, I'm not even gonna say it, but um during our lunch break, she then wanted me to sit with like all the vendors, with like the little stupid box lunch that they give you. And I was like, you know what? No, dude, like you've been treating me like crap this whole time, and you think I'm gonna like break bread with you? Like, no, get out of here. No, and then what really got me triggered was that the photo booth guy, he didn't get a lunch because he wasn't there for the whole day.
Oh
Like
God.
yeah, she was like, "Oh, you have to be here for a certain amount of hours to get a lunch." Because I told them, "Well, just give the lunch to him. Like, I don't want it. Like, give it to
Yeah.
him." "Oh, I can't give it to him because." And I'm like, "So what are you gonna do? Throw it away?" I was like, "Dude." So I was like,
Stupid rules. Yeah, stupid
"Stupid
rules.
rules, dude.
They
It's so
treat you like
stupid. It's
kindergarten.
already paid for. The client already paid for it. Like
Yeah.
who cares?"
There's a lot of shit going on over there. I mean, I hate it when restaurants cheap out on the vendor foods,
Yeah.
and knowing that full well that the client paid for the food.
Hmm.
There's been times where the client actually paid for us getting ribeye,
Yeah, like
but
the real meal, the
but
actual
the
meal.
venue didn't. They try to cheap out. They had us in a separate room, and I go, "Hey man, I thought we were getting ribeye. What happened? And I told the coordinator, not the coordinator of the event, but the coordinator of the banquet hall.
Yeah, the venue
And I go,
coordinator.
hey, they paid for ribeye. Where's the ribeye? He got all like, oh, nervous because if I tell the bride and groom, hey, they're giving us crap,
Hmm.
because I usually ask, like during the booking process, I ask the client, what's going on with the food? Like, are we
Yeah,
gonna
the
get,
vendor
you
goes
know,
down.
wow? Because in my contract it says feed us, not like that, but like,
Yeah. It's
and feed us normal food.
yeah.
And if you don't, we're gonna have to take an hour break. We'll be back. Oh, no, we don't want you to do that. So, but what is it? Phil says, I could never do weddings. You have to have a strong personality and I'm able to direct a lot. Too much stress for me. You guys deserve the money you charge. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for so long that I could just do it behind my back, blindfolded. But you know, it's you got to have it in you. You're right. I didn't work this wedding, but I went to one. They had hot dogs. They were Nathan's. Those. So as hot dogs goes, they are fire. Nathan's hot
I
dog.
mean, okay, so obviously I don't want to sound like snooty about it because when you have wedding food, you pretty much had it all, right? Like it's wedding food is pretty typical. So, and after you've done it for a long time, wedding food doesn't really, get it up for you like it did the first time. Um, but every now and again, the client goes out of their way to like have really unique, good food. And it depends on the wedding. Like if it was like a backyard wedding, right? Like Z Wade mentioned, like if it was like a backyard wedding, then yeah, hot dogs would be appropriate for a wedding like that, right? But let's say I remember I always go back to the story that you said that the client came in with like a sob story, right? And they
Yeah,
got a huge discount, and then you show up and there was like bottles
lobsters and
of
shit.
Louis 13
Yeah,
on every table. I was like, dang, they did my boy dirty.
yeah, bro. That's how they were so wealthy because of that tactics that they pull.
Yeah.
Some people, but I wouldn't say that ever to everybody. Like usually the wealthier people are not cheap. No. Let me say this. Let me say it different way. Usually the people that are not as wealthy are they let you do what you do and they pay your price.
Mhm.
They find a way to like pay your price because they appreciate you. But
Yeah.
some cheap clients, the cheaper client is the one that's looking for like that discount and that are very bossy.
Yeah.
Um,
And they expect everything.
yeah, the cheaper the some clients are cheap but they're wealthy, and they come out as they have no money. Please give me a discount, and then when you show up, it's like all they just want to show off. That's all it is to
Well,
them. It's
I
a
would I
show
would
off.
put those in the new money category and
Yeah,
not the old money category.
yeah.
Because the old money types, like they they go all out, but it's not flashy, if that makes sense. And I've noticed that for like the new money types, they go all out and it's flashy.
No, I
Um,
mean, I've noticed like super wealthy people drive normal cars. Super
mhm.
wealthy people don't wear designer clothes.
Yeah.
Um, not everybody, but usually it's like that. Like the
Yeah.
super wealthy, they don't really people that like buy the Gucci shirt and they're not the super wealthy.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, I could be wrong. But at this point, I'd rather eat hot dogs and hamburgers at a wedding because I've had the wedding food and it's like boring to me now.
Yeah.
I'd rather have
Yeah, that's
something.
what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's different, right? Like, or another thing, it's the wedding cake. Like wedding cake needs to just not be a thing anymore because
Wedding cake.
Hmm?
Why you say that?
Well, okay, I love cake, but not everybody makes a good cake, right? Like for me, good cake comes from Chinese bakeries. Like I've tried cakes from Mexican bakeries, from American bakeries, even Armenian bakeries, but when it comes to cakes, Chinese bakeries is where it's at. The problem is that the cakes that Chinese bakeries do, they're cakes. There's no design. It's just a cake. It's just a rectangle with happy birthday on it. But the taste is, oh man, it's
The,
delicious. If you
the
never had
cool,
Chinese cake, you gotta
the coolest thing that I experienced was when everybody's drunk and wasted
Mhm.
towards the end of the night, and then somebody gets on stage and says, "All right, guys, there's an In-N-Out truck outside or
Oh
taco
yeah,
truck." We just run outside and it's pretty cool.
yeah. I've been to a few weddings like that. Except they don't give you the fries; they only give you the burger and chips.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
there's some like rule or something where they can't fry the
I
fries
don't know.
outside. I don't know, but yeah, that's pretty cool. But to go
McDonald's.
back on the comment that FLM said about cheap clients and wanting work for free, you'd be surprised that celebrity clients are the worst ones to have, because they do expect you to do it for free, because mostly everything that they have in their wedding is sponsored. So because the dress is sponsored, the venue is sponsored, et cetera, then you're also expected to sponsor your work, and in return you're going to get exposure. I mean, it depends, like it depends. If it was if I knew that my work was going to be published, then yes, I would do it for free. But otherwise, it will be a case by case.
And it's weird because they have the money, man. It's
Oh yeah, and they have the money. Yeah, of course.
One story I want to tell you is true story. This guy does the AC units, and he went to, I guess he had a call Ozzy Osbourne's house.
Oh no way!
When he used to live here in LA.
Yeah.
So he goes to Ozzy's house and does the work and this and that, and he goes, okay, well, got to pay up now, So I didn't have no money. It's like, I'm not saying Ozzy, but like, I just thought of that, but like, it's like some of these celebs, they have a lot of money. Like, why are you being cheap?
Oh yeah.
Why are you being cheap, bro? Like, you should tip 40-50% at restaurants, like, why are you being cheap? I mean, you guys tip the valet guy good, I do it, and I'm not even a celebrity, or I'm not super well. I do that. Like, what the hell, bro? Like, what's going on with this? It's like, it sucks, people. Why would I work for free? Like, what's up with that? Unless, I mean, if I'm getting something out of it, like if it's Kim Kardashian's gig and I know I'm going to get tons of exposure doing it, and I can share these photos and I can get tons of, like, it's going to open other avenues. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, same here. You just have to know how to pick your battles. Like, again, another comment that FM did, he says one of the, let me see. There it is. It says, one big mistake I see a lot of photographers do is shooting for free to build their portfolio. That's cool, but many of them keep doing these free collabs. So my take on that, because I did a lot of free collabs in my day to build my portfolio, and I did it with film, so it will come out of my pocket. Sometimes I would spend like $300-$400 to take photos that went absolutely nowhere. Like, and it was a real shame, dude. Like, it was such a pity that, like, I would hit up, these brands or musicians, local musicians, and we say, like, I'll take your photos, and, you promote me, I promote, you scratch my back type of thing. Nothing ever came out of it, but I'm glad that I did do all that, because I was able to, practice run all my equipment, my techniques on directing, all that. So I wouldn't say don't do the free gigs if you're just starting out. For example, like there's a buddy of mine who wants to do wedding videography, but on 8mm film, right?
Good luck.
And what happened?
Good luck.
I know, right? And there's a market for it, except he doesn't have a portfolio for it. And I told him, dude, look, I recommend them to clients, because clients who book a film photographer more than likely will want to book a videographer who also uses film, right? And he's good at what he does, very good at what he does. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a portfolio. And I told him, dude, you need to, spend some money to make money, get yourself some models, save up $500-$600 and pay for it, for the processing out of your own pocket. Otherwise, you're never going to get booked. Like you can't expect a client to give you $8,000 without anything to show for it. You get what I'm saying? Like nobody's going to do that.
Yeah.
And so I told him, look, the best thing I can do for you is bring you in on one of my weddings, and we'll just tell the client that you're my assistant and you can record some video. But he was like, oh, what am I going to get paid? I was like, oh, buddy, like I'm trying to help you build your portfolio, like clearly the client didn't want to book you because you don't have a portfolio, so it's like, I don't know. So I got to get back to him and see what he says. But so I kind of get it. Like, I understand that we all want to get compensated, but if you don't have a portfolio, if you don't have something to show for, like you can't expect the client to pay you so that they can be the guinea pig. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, prime zoom, yeah, dude. Those disposables, man. If they were relying on that for keepers and album photos, they made a big mistake, man. Seriously, that's funny, dude.
no, disposable cameras.
But
I actually have a blog post on my website on why I do not recommend disposable cameras.
oh man, I know they get in the way. They look weird. Like people are just busy doing that the whole time.
Well, what's funny is that we have TikTok to blame for that, because all the Gen Zers, they want all that retro look.
Yeah.
And so, and this is another bone I have to pick with the film wedding photography community, is that a lot of wedding photographers who offer film as an add-on, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, they just throw the film in and underexpose the crap out of the images. So either they're too bright or they're too underexposed and they're too grainy. And because they have a huge following, clients see that and they assume that's what film is supposed to look like. And so when they come to me, they're like, "Oh, how come your film doesn't look like this?" And I'm like, "Because that's not how film is supposed to look like." But I want my photos to look like that. I'm like, well, like, go to that, go to them, like, I'm not gonna purposely underexpose my film just so that you can get that look, like, because I don't know what your process is, but my process for, like, for onboarding clients is, on my contact form, I have, name, date, all that. But then I also ask, what do you do for a living? Send me your mood board and what do you have planned, right? Like, if you don't give me those three things from the get-go, I'm not even going to bother replying. Because if you don't give me a mood board, then I don't know what you have in mind, if that makes sense. Because film, unfortunately, it's so because it's so niche, like, everybody kind of has like a different perspective on what it's supposed to look like. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, if we're not on the same page, you're not going to be happy with my work. I'm not going to be happy with it. And, we're just, it's just going to be a waste of time.
Man, I would not shoot film. Like,
and then once I see that they give me those three things, then we book a Zoom call, right? Like this, exactly how we're talking now. We book the Zoom call and then we just kind of go over, like, the images that they gave me, or any of the photos that they saw in my portfolio that they liked, and then we go from there. So, I try to, like, really, what's that word? I try to go through, a fine-tooth comb with each client, because in the past, when I've had clients who didn't really appreciate film, like, they were just never happy, and I don't want to go through that again. And then all that caused me to burn out and quit, and I don't want to go through that again. So, I try to make sure that the client that's booking me is because they like they don't have to like me, but they at least have to like my work, so at the very least, like, we don't have to be friends, but at least appreciate what I do.
Exactly.
The method, exactly. Yeah. But it's again, using film is not as difficult as some people might think. To me, it's actually much easier than it is to do digital, in my opinion, because you can get pretty much any look you want. The trick is knowing what look you're going for so that you can dial that in camera.
Look at this cool article. Nikon camera buried for 7 years, reunited with its owners. That's cool. This week, a Nikon camera was found buried in the ground near a footpath on the Isles of Scilly. After checking the SD card, it was estimated to have been lost somewhere between 2017 and 2018. After publishing a few of the photos on Facebook, the owner was found just a day later.
Oh,
it's a Coolpix S9900. 2015. That's cool. Look at the back. Look at the back screen.
Why was it buried in the first place? Oh, it probably fell in the.
They probably lost it.
Yeah.
They probably lost it. Now I'm just checking if I see anything worth mentioning here. Petapixel. Yeah.
There was a new article, I think in Chicago, of this couple, recently married couple, newlywed couple, who said that their photographer didn't turn in their photos. And they had called this guy, like multiple times, and he kept giving them I'm injured, I'm in the hospital, et cetera, et cetera. So they called up their local news and they, they aired it or whatever, right? That same day after it was aired, the photographer called the client saying, "Hey, I got your photos ready." and that happens more often than it should happen.
Yeah.
I'm noticing.
Have you ever lost a camera?
No, but I did have a camera stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my Nikon F3, and I'm not going to say the name of the place. I used to take it to this repair shop where I used to live in East Los.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it needed cleaning or whatever. And I took it to that guy a couple of times. The third time I took it to him, he, dropped it off because sand got in it. And he called me and said, "Hey, your camera's ready." So I go in and, he's like looking around for it. He's like, "Are you sure you haven't already picked it up?" And I was like, "Buddy, you called me this morning." Like, anyway, so it turned out that he either lost it or sold it or gave it to somebody else. I don't know what happened. Obviously, I was very upset. And he was like, "You know what? Don't worry. I'm gonna get you another one."
Yeah.
Right. So he calls me back a week later, and I go in, and obviously it's not the same one. It's a different F3, much older than mine. And instead of having the 51.4 AIS, it was the AI version, which is not a big deal, but it wasn't my camera, right? And on top of it, he still wanted to charge me the $100 for the service.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Buddy, why are you even charging me?" Like, anyway, so I ended up selling it, and it was such a shame because I really love that camera, that F3. Because I bought it.
I love my F3.
From Kenyatta Camera, because this lady came in and she was like, "Oh, Sammy's camera told me it doesn't work anymore." And I said, let me have a look at it. And I put a battery in it and it started working. And I said, "Look, it just needed a new battery."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, I'm not going to use it anymore." So I offered her $5. And this is the time when nobody wanted film equipment. So I got it for $5. And that camera had traveled all over the world with her. It had gone to Japan. It had gone to Egypt, Italy. So it had like little history behind it. So that was, I was very upset that my camera was misplaced. So
yeah. Well, you got it for $5. What did you get for $5? What did you get for $5?
A Nikon F3
Wow.
with 50mm 1.4 AIS.
Wow. That's cool.
But this was in 2007, 2008 when you couldn't give away film equipment. Like Hasselblad cameras were like $100.
Hey.
So
yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and another funny story. This is the time when people would come in with boxes of like junk, right? And it'll be like F3s, F4s, 1.4 lenses, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want it anymore." And in fact, when I was working at Sammy's Camera, this guy came in with a cardboard box of, I think it had 3 Nikon 3DXs with a couple of 70-200s, 24-70s, flash units. And he was like, "Oh, how much can I get for this?" And I don't know. He was like super sketch about it. So I think he stole them. So, but that was pretty common, like to have people come in with boxes of camera gear, which now hindsight, had I known that all this crap was going to be expensive one day, I would have, taken it and purchased it. But
one day let's meet up at the bargain camera show.
Oh yeah, it's in Burbank now.
I'll let you know when I'm going if you're free.
I think it already passed for this month. Yeah, but it's in Burbank now. The camera swap meet. It's a swap meet.
Let's see, bargain camera show. They used to have a website. I think their website is down.
No, look, because it's called something else. It's
There it
called
is.
LA Camera Expo. I think it's
It
what it's
says
called.
permanently closed. I
No,
guess
no,
that
no, no,
one
no,
is
no, no.
permanently closed.
Look here, I'll give you the new one on the private chat. Boom, there it is. I think the next one is on April 13th, which was this weekend, and I think the one coming up doesn't
Is
say
this the
that.
same thing though that I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's the same one. Yeah.
That used to be in Pasadena.
Yeah, this used to be in Pasadena. Yes, it's the same one.
Oh, they changed the name, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Vendors. Huh.
So I guess from what I know, I guess the guy who was in charge of it, I think he passed away during the Corona Chan, and so that's why they haven't done anything with it. And then they tried it in Huntington Park, but it's
Mhm.
kind of ghetto. So obviously the hipster kids aren't gonna go down there, and they
Yeah, Huntington Park. It was in Anaheim once or a couple times. They
Mhm.
used to do it in Anaheim, Pasadena, Huntington Park, and it's a cool place. Like I used to buy a lot of old lenses here. Vendors, crazy.
Yeah, that's where I got one of these for $10. But I mean, obviously now it's probably not going to be $10, but
Oh shit! I know this guy.
which guy?
This guy right here. He used to go to the Sorrow. Oh, I know these two. These two. Oh, it's funny that their pictures are here.
It's probably the same people who show up, which I like. You know, I like consistency.
Yeah.
I actually, for a while, like after Kenyatta closed down, my boss told me, hey, you know, whatever's left, it's yours. You know, so I inherited the Leica sign. I even inherited some posters, like some of these right here.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I inherited like batteries and accessories, filters, all that stuff. Oops. And I sold it at the Pasadena camera swap meet. It's funny how they call it a show, but it's a swap meet.
Yeah. Bargain camera show.
Bargain camera show. Yeah. And so I used to sell batteries. Dude, I would make a pretty buck. You know, I would walk away with like $150 of just pure battery sales.
And they used to do it every every other Sunday.
Every
was
other
the
Sunday,
show.
yeah. Mm.
That's cool. All right, brother. This was fun. Wow, almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Is anybody still here? Shit.
That's cool, man. Well,
Yeah, well, there's still 11 people, but not a lot of comments. So
yeah, thanks for coming on.
no,
Dave.
thank you.
I had a fun time chatting. So keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
It was fun to talk to you. And all you guys in the chat, thank you so much for contributing. And awesome.
Yeah. Hey, and you can find me if anybody's still here. You can I'm not a YouTuber, but I do write a lot. I do have a very lengthy camera review of the Nikon F3 and the Nikon N75. So just go on Google, punch in Nikon F3 or Nikon N75, and I'm right up there with Ken Rockwell. Like it's Ken Rockwell and then me.
So, yeah, that's right. That's cool.
So
got your links in the description. So your website.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. So if anybody still reads, that's where I'm at. I'm also on Instagram. I'm actually posting personal work now on Instagram. So that's where you can find me. Just go on Google the drunk wedding photographer, and you can find all my socials there. So
David Cruz, the drunk wedding photographer.
Mhm.
Thanks for joining.
You can even type in David Cruz wedding photographer on Google, and like all my links show up. So that was very difficult to do, but I'm glad that I was able to do all that. So
thanks so much. Thanks everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Focus Bokehs on Vahagraphy. This can be found on YouTube, on my channel, and YouTube music app. Just search Vahagraphy, Focus Bokehs, Photography Podcast. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, David. Thanks, everybody in the chat. And rock and roll. This is Vahagraphy. I'm Vahag, and you're a rock and roll photographer. We'll
I'm
see you
David
soon.
Cruz. See you.
Thanks, Dave.